When you want to buy a budget crossover, there aren't too many options out there, but you should definitely check out this 2017 Fiat 500X Pop. Starting at under $20,000, this is one of the cheapest crossovers on the market. It gives you all the space you're looking for on the inside, while it's really compact on the outside. This particular 500X is the all-wheel drive version, and it comes with the 2.4 liter instead of the base 1.4 liter engine. And it actually has a decent amount of power even with the all-wheel drive. It's not quick, but it definitely is not sluggish either. It does have a bit of a buzzy engine note, but it's actually also kind of a cool engine note. One of the things Fiat actually, I think, puts a lot of effort into is tuning the sound of their vehicles. And when you think about some of the historic Fiats that these designs recall, they all sounded pretty unique too. So you get this really unique intake sound, sort of an aggressive four-cylinder that really does give a sporty feel. There's a sport mode here, but it doesn't really do much but hold gears longer. And again, at this price point, we're not expecting a whole bunch of features and modes and everything that do a whole lot of different things. The funky exterior leads to this funky interior, and it's funky in a good way. You've got this painted body colored insert along the dash, and the steering wheel has nice thumb grips, good leather wrap. It's actually a really cool looking interior, but it's also quite comfortable. Now, when you look from the outside, you don't see a ton of space, but on the inside, you've got a lot of headroom. You've actually got a decent amount of backseat room. As far as cargo room goes, it's not terrible, but when you look at how short this vehicle is overall, that's really where you mainly take the hit. When you're cruising, this has got a pretty quiet ride in the 40-mile-an-hour range, but it gets a little noisy on the highway. Another thing you notice is this is a lightweight vehicle, and when a semi goes past, you definitely notice it. It blows you around a little bit. The model that we're testing starts out at 23, and this one comes in at just under 26,000. You've got this satellite radio system here, a ton of great features for not a lot of money. For the same money that you can get this exciting looking bright orange Fiat, you could go down to your Toyota dealer, Honda dealer, get their small compact crossover, but they're all going to be beige. I mean, they're all going to be boring looking. You don't want to be that boring person. So this is a way that you can stand out, and this has a little more space than some of the competitors too. This 2.4 liter is mated to a 9-speed transmission, but we definitely wish the shifts were a little bit more crisp. There's a big delay to when you put your foot down to when it actually does something, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's got to downshift through so many gears before it gets going again. So, you know, just a little bit better programming, but again, for the money, you're getting a 9-speed transmission. You know, you might be wondering what some of the differences are between this and something that costs a lot more, and it really comes down to the really little things like the turn signal. When you tap it and it goes 5 times, if you're changing lanes, you don't want to turn it all the way on. That's a little inconsistent. You don't quite get it every time. It takes a lot more throw of the handle to make it do it, and you know, you get into a more expensive vehicle, it's going to take less effort, it's going to take less of a motion, and it's going to work more consistently. The driver's display here in this 500 is actually pretty cool. It's got the same LCD screen that's in just about every Fiat and a lot of Chrysler vehicles. It's a square screen, but the fonts that they've chosen and the way that it's laid out, it looks really cool. It's got that Fiat feel to it. There's no shortage of little storage pockets here. You've got these huge pockets in the door. There's actually 2 glove boxes here, one on the top of the dash, one on the bottom. There's kind of more than you would even expect for storage here, which is really nice. Another great feature, these days, the actual head unit stereo control system, infotainment, whatever you want to call it, are getting more and more complicated. And it's a big screen with tons of menus. This is actually a very simple and easy to use system. There's just a few buttons across the bottom. There's not a ton of features here, which means that you can use everything really easily without distracting you from the road. We definitely appreciate the keyless entry, push button start, some of the great features you get here. But there's a sensor on the dash that actually dims the screen here and the screen in the center. We're just wondering why they wouldn't have put automatic headlights there. You know, the sensor's there, everything's in place. It would have been really easy to do that. One thing I noticed is this definitely rides really harshly over the bumps. And again, you know, we're talking about definitely an entry-level price. There's going to be some corners cut, there's going to be some savings here and there, and definitely the suspension tuning is one of those areas. It handles well enough, but definitely rides a little harsh over bumps. Really, your options are limited if you want a budget crossover, but there's really no better choice than this Fiat 500X because you don't look like you're a boring person. Kind of fun to drive, and it's definitely fun to look at.